Sussex Squad. Good evening, y'all. I just finished watching Megan's show. Don't yell at me. It was playing all this time. From the 4th, I've been playing it all day, every day. And I've just been really busy. Besides the few minutes in the first episode I was able to watch before I really had to go back to work. I've not had the chance to properly sit down and watch the whole thing. I've done it now, and guys, Megan, you're amazing. I wish, unfortunately, because I'm trying to grow my channel, I have to be more nuanced in how I do these things. Otherwise, I'd have said, screw it, let me just do a proper review. But then Netflix, as they rightly should, have put serious copyright regulations on YouTube. And I think we see the benefit because some of the nasty live streams, some of the so-called recaps some of these haters have put up have been not only copyright struck, but they've been blocked completely, and I love that for them. Netflix is saying, if you guys want to batter on hate for clicks, that's your business. You are not going to do it on public profile with my content. And I say that's the type of business partner Megan needs. People who are ready to stand 10 toes. Not people who will exploit you and your fame and let you make money for them, but will not protect you when they should. Megan has found really good business partners. Long may it continue. Anyway, I want you guys to listen to some of this garbage. I wasn't looking for this, to be fair. I wanted to see if the royal rats, as they call themselves, again, guys, this is not a real job. These are basically bottom feeders who maybe were following the king or Camilla at some point in their careers, like the losers they are, and they have no other transferable skills. So this is the best they can do. It is not a real job. So royal commentator doesn't make any sense. But okay, fine. I wanted to hear what the royal commentators had to say about it. I wanted to see if they would acknowledge the top 10 global hit success of the show. Of course they won't, but they made some very interesting points I'd like to counter and destroy. Let's get to it.
So, what have you got somewhere else to go? We're like, I think we all just, we've all got somewhere else.
The kids must turn up to school at playtime.
I mean, is there a problem? You're talking about she's selling her lifestyle. So this is the whole move that Meghan's been making in the last couple of years, really, since the abuse that came out on the Harry and Meghan Netflix show, and also Spare, that she's been trying to portray herself as this happy-go-lucky California girl. Here's my lifestyle. Here's my happy, wonderful life. Is it the case that we are only interested in Harry and Meghan when they dish the dirt, when they appear on?
I want to remind everybody, the only reason they watch these people claim they watch the show is, they wanted to get royalty. They knew damn well they were not getting any royalty. If Harry and Meghan have done one thing consistently for the past few years, is after Harry's book, they drew a big bloody line in the sand. They said, nope, no more. You're not going to get any information into our personal life, one, and we're not going to speak about the royal family again. In fact, I'm very sure if Harry and Meghan could, they would completely take a spoon, scoop that part of their life and throw it away. But sadly, they can't. So the only time you ever hear them mentioning the royals is when they have to, like when Harry is doing his admirable campaign against the British press. Daily Mail is next year. For those of you that are watching, I personally can't wait for him to destroy them. Maureen's career is about to feel very painful, I hope. But yeah, just to answer that talking point, they keep hoping that Meghan will mention them like a ditched lover, and Meghan doesn't even pay any of them dust. It's pissing. This thing is biting them inside.
Oprah, when they write books like Spare, and when they just become fronting a lifestyle show that we're just turning off and thinking, well, you're not the personality, this interesting personality that was slagging off the royals that got all the headlines.
Well, this was the great experiment with this series. This was really her one big chance to sort of steer the ship in a different direction. Human nature is that we love gossip, we love salacious gossip, we love tell-alls, we do. People that even hate read Spare or hate watching Harry and Meghan, a lot of people just, there is an element of curiosity to that. I think they did the right thing in moving away from it, but as I said, the problem was that Meghan then needed to sell herself as interesting in other ways.
What does that mean? So basically, she's trying to imply that Meghan doesn't have, and this is again a talking point that I've addressed before. Meghan would not be anything without Harry. Meghan is nobody without Harry. Meghan is not Kate Love. Meghan had a career. Meghan was on a very popular TV show. Meghan ran a business. Meghan is someone. Meghan is a standalone individual, and it was evidenced by the fact that people, out of all the Harry Meghan projects, out of all of them, besides the documentary, this is the second most popular one. And I don't want to get my hopes too high, but I really, really think she might get to number one in some country. Well, I don't. You know what? I don't want to do that. That's not fair to Meghan, and that's not fair to us because it undermines what this her incredible achievement. Meghan's name alone has propelled her to top 5 in the top biggest markets for Netflix, UK and US. Everything else, while it's lovely to see, irrelevant. King, the future king, what's his name? William, had Earthshot Prize. How many people on? Let's go find the numbers. I'll look for it. How many people watched it on Disney? How many people watched it on ITV? Please, Sussex Squad, if you have any information, please post it in the chat. I will happily cover that.
Ways. And she hasn't really landed that. So I think that's the problem for them ongoing. I don't really know how they go back or reach anywhere near the level of success they've had from the explosive tell-alls and that sort of era, because now, I mean, she's faced with the problem that reviews all over the world are pointing out that she is quite boring on screen.
At least I know how to make the candle now.
But you watched though. All of you watched all 8 episodes. You got her ratings. And I didn't find her boring. I found the show actually quite relaxing. Just watching it, relaxing with my champagne is exactly what you need. Not everything has to be boom, bish, bish, bish. Sometimes a calm, relaxing effect is what you need, and that was what she was trying to portray with this show. If they bothered to pay attention, which of course they wouldn't, and even if they did, that is not what they are trying. That is not their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is casting negativity and lies. And what reviews are they talking about? What reviews are you referring to, love? The funny thing is, even if Meghan got 100% reviews, perfection, they will still find a way to twist it. So now they care about reviews.
Yeah, that's what, any time I need to make a candle, I know how to do it now.
we as I say, we're not TV reviewers, we're not TV critics, we're royal experts, but could it have been a little bit better?
A reminder, royal experts is not a job. Anything royal is fan fiction written in these idiots' heads and ways for them to make money and get access to the royal family as celebrities. They are basically no better than TMZ.
If the guest list was a bit better, because we've reported today in The Sun, reported this week in The Sun, that they did struggle to get any A-list names. I mean, she's friends with Serena Williams, and Serena Williams wasn't there. You think she invited George Clooney and Amal Clooney to her wedding and the Beckhams to her wedding. There are people that she has claimed to have known, and none of them turned up.
Even her husband turned up till the end.
Well,
that is a ridiculously petty, hateration and stupid point to make. If Meghan had only featured this show with A-listers like Beyonce's mom, Kelly, Kerry Washington, right? If she only featured those types of people on this show, they would say it was just an A-lister get-together. Meghan, through her Instagram, through other people's Instagrams, through pictures, through paparazzi, clearly has a very, very buoyant A-list Rolodex of friends. They've seen it, but they just want to be shady, because if nothing else fails, let us keep moving the goalpost, no matter how stupid it is.
Exactly. I mean, she's married to a prince of the realm here, and he didn't even bother to turn up for. I mean,
I can see why there was parts. Yeah.
Harry did not. Like I said, critical thinkers know why Harry did not show up till the end, because this is Meghan's thing. He, like a good supportive husband, took a step back and let his wife produce her show. The show is not with love Harry and Meghan. It is with love Meghan. Why did Harry need to be there? If Harry had featured in almost every episode, or more than he has, they would say the only reason why he got popular, people watched this because they wanted to see Harry. But Harry respected himself like a good supportive partner that he was, and said, look, my love, I'm going to take a step back. I'm very sure Harry was behind the camera, because she said so. Meghan said so. Again, another thing of not listening to what Meghan says, coming directly from her mouth because it doesn't feed their narrative.
Yeah, I can see why she kind of had it a bit separate from him, but at the same time, she referenced him a fair bit as my husband. We all know it's Harry. You can just say Harry. But the only thing we learn about...
What is the problem with her saying that Harry is her husband? And it's always, I'm sorry to say this, guys, because I know Meghan has white fans. White women and men, can you please, in my comment section, explain to me what your problem is with Meghan proclaiming this is her husband? I'm confused. Maybe someone can explain it to me. Is it not her husband? Why does this thing trigger them so much? I don't get it. Maybe because I'm not married. But can someone explain to me why a woman calling out the man that we all know is her husband as her husband is a problem? If Meghan had been saying Harry, H, it's now become a thing of, you're always talking about H. She needed to mention Harry's name to get any attention. H. She's calling him her husband, who she barely mentioned, by the way. It's a problem. What is the issue, guys, if it's not hateration and jealousy?
Him, even just as a fun personal fact, is that he likes bacon and salt. Again, there's an opportunity there. He didn't even necessarily need to be a presence in the show, and it didn't need to be all about him. But let's learn more about you, Meghan, and your life with Harry.
Why? I keep asking this question. Why does Meghan have to show you her life? Martha Stewart does cooking shows. Do I know everything about Martha Stewart's personal life, about her kids, about her relationships? That woman, I'm very sure, can walk past me and I may not even notice her. Business is business. You can be a celebrity, be in front of these cameras, and still maintain... In fact, I encourage you to do that. Many of them do that. Beyonce does that. God, sorry, I'm blanking. A lot of celebrities, you will see them on TV. Cillian Murphy does that. Meghan and Harry have been very strict about that. Some people will see Harry, they won't see Meghan. And that's okay too. Why must her personal life be up for your scrutiny? She doesn't work for you anymore. That's why she left. If we had seen more about Meghan on her Instagram was showing the back of her children's heads, helping her make Valentine's Day treats. They were saying that she's using her children to sell. Meghan was posting Serena meeting her daughter. There were segments of Meghan is using her daughter to sell her brand. A child that we've never even seen the face of. But nobody says a damn thing when the royal family... There's a whole article, I was looking for it. There's a whole article talking about Prince George going to be the future king. That boy is not even yet 12 or 13. I can't remember how old he is. Is he 12? I don't know. He's not even yet old enough, I think, to properly understand what is going on. They've already started creating articles, doing features on him. Is that what you want? Actually, no, sorry. They want, it's like this, again, this is the behavior of a psychopath. You've gone. You've left that relationship. You're not contributing anything to them anymore. But they still think they have the audacity to be telling you how to live your life. But then when you do when you give them snippets, they get upset. Everything, this couple cannot do anything right in their eye.
This person that you're trying to sell us to, I felt like I came away from it. I know that Harry likes bacon and salt, and I don't think I heard his name once throughout the whole series.
Thing is, Bronte, would you watch it if you didn't have to for the job?
Oh, yesterday, absolutely not. It was a slog. It really, and I wanted to like it. I really have to say, I wanted to go, okay.
No, you didn't. So please don't waste our time.
Okay, this is the new direction. It's worked. And within 10 minutes, I was like...
My life, what you know, I was going to do it anymore.
It was a very, you've used the word there, it was a very brief appearance. Again, I can understand why that may have been the decision they've deliberately made, but it wasn't... I would have thought maybe if he only popped up for a minute that it would...
If you go and watch the original video, guys, look, we've been talking about this. Look at how many minutes we've spent on this. I didn't count how many seconds Harry was on the screen. I don't think Harry was on the screen for up to a minute. And we've spent how many minutes talking about the 15 seconds that he was on the screen? Are these people normal?
Would have been very much to sort of have a powerful minute with Meghan and telling her how proud he is and how wonderful it all is, maybe. And I don't think we really saw that. So.
I don't really good face.
Yes. Because you didn't bother to watch it properly. You were just looking for things to complain about. At the end, right at the end, which I thought was very heartwarming, he hugged his wife close to him and said, "This looks great." He complimented her. I see the way he was smiling at her. I'm very sure he's proud of her, Bironi. Maybe if you went single, or I don't know, the loser you're dating gave you a little bit of room, you wouldn't be coming on here for £30 appearance fee, giving us your stupid insight. You still watched it though?
Eating that cake was beautiful on the inside, or the stringy bacon, which he would have probably disliked. I think he should have been there for the first time, because it's all, she's what he is because she married him.
And this is it. This is where they were going without unnecessary tirade. They were trying to make the point that, look, Meghan is not a person on her own. Without Harry. And that's the thing that pisses them off. In their mind, not only should Harry and Meghan have failed outside the royal pocket, but it is impossible for them to accept that Meghan is doing well, because in their mind, she doesn't deserve it. Why doesn't she deserve it? She was a businesswoman before. She was an actress. She didn't grow up with wealth. She knew how to balance a check. She went through, from what I can tell, her background wasn't rich. She had to struggle to find an acting job. She slept in her car, according to her. This is a woman that has been through some times. So you think she wouldn't have the business mind, the astuteness, and the ability to build a brand on her own without Harry? Yes, Harry got her global recognition, but that doesn't in any way, shape, or form. But it's not about that. It's about taking that thing that you've gotten and use it to do something better. Kate became a global name because of William. What has Kate used that recognition to do? What charities is Kate supporting? What initiatives has Kate brought to fruition? How many times do we see Kate? Her early years initiative, which I keep on forgetting about, sorry guys, is probably the only that's the one thing Kate has done. Kate is 42, I'll be 43. Kate, a grown adult woman in her life, a millennial woman, a woman that was born in the 80s, the decade of the millennial women, the feminists, the children of feminists. The only thing Kate Middleton has achieved is the early years initiative that isn't going anywhere. And in fact, if not for the fact that Meghan was getting all this acclaim for her brand, her business, her founding, her hustle, I don't even think Kate would have continued with that early years program. She should have just said, she should have shown up for a few pictures, taken a few pictures, and we won't see it again. This is disgraceful. These are tax-funded people. And even if they weren't tax-funded people, these are people in their 40s. What is your legacy? Kate.
And that show just doesn't stand up on her own with just her, no.
Just finally on the show itself, we obviously had the Harry and Meghan show. Before on Netflix, we've had Oprah Winfrey. How do you think the royal family would treat this show? How do you think their reaction is? They haven't said anything yet, but do you think behind closed doors they're talking about it? Are they relieved that it's kind of scandal-free? What's your? You know the royal family quite well. You know the King and William. What were they?
Well, if the King told me he watched it and liked it, I'd be surprised. But I don't think he would anyway. But I think it's one of these things. This criticism is going to do is a lot of people are going to watch the show to see for themselves. So probably, Netflix will get probably good ratings at the start. But look, the royals are not going to comment on it. I mean, it's just. I'll be interested. I'll see what happens.
First of all, we all know he's lying. I'm very sure all of them have watched it. I'm sure the King probably watched it 4 times. I'm very sure Kate watched it, because we all know Kate is basically cosplaying Meghan now, even though she thinks we're stupid. I don't know if they think that if they don't talk about it, we can't see. Kate is basically Meghan's twin at this point. I just wish she could replicate Meghan's work ethic and actually do something. As a woman, she's a disgrace. What else? Yeah, I'm very sure everybody in the royal family watched every second of that thing and scrutinized it 11 times. This is how I know this guy is either lying or the so-called closeness he has to the king. I'm very sure if King Charles walks past this man, he'll be like, who? He might not even recognize who this man is. This is why I'm telling you guys. These people are ridiculous.
Our Queen says about it, because she's quite a good cook herself. But whether they comment, I doubt it, Matt. In many ways, I saw it just because I wanted to talk about it. I had to do a piece for the paper this morning about it. I wouldn't have bothered watching it, but there are people that are interested in that. But I watched Mary Berry cook a cake last night, and it was brilliant. And Meghan's no Mary Berry, and that's the end of it. And if you want to watch a cooking show, get someone who can cook. Jamie Oliver, Mary Berry. There's so many of them, and I just thought that was just all false, just false.
I think the royals must be relieved that they don't really have to react to this one, because really there's not, for once it really actually felt like it had nothing to do with them in that regard.
Now, Arthur's already touched on this. I think your view is that it's unlikely to get a second series.
And this is the part I was waiting for right here. Sorry for making you sit through this bylaws old fool and Matt Wilkinson's stupid face. Critical thinkers. Meghan released that show on a Tuesday. People are at work. People are working around the world. And yet, the two biggest markets, UK and US, in less than 48 hours, got that show into top 10. That show is now entering top 5. And not only that, it has grown into the top 10 in more than 70, 80 countries Netflix is present in. Also, Netflix is a brand partner with Meghan on As Ever products. I want those of you that have brains in your head to think about this for 2 seconds. Do you really think this show will not get a season 2? This show is doing better than Selling Sunset when it first came out. You really think Netflix will not give this man a season 2? So I want us to bookmark this experience, because when inevitably Netflix announces further content with Meghan, regardless of when it chooses to come out, I don't know if it will come out immediately. I hope so, but let's see. I'm very curious. Let's come back to this point. I'll come back to this video.
I sound like Alan Partridge now. Will I get a second series? Will I get a second series? But Bronte, what do you think? Do you think there's enough in there to merit Netflix continuing with this contract? Because Netflix could look at this and say, look at all the reviews, the contract's going to run out at some stage. We are in deep with them, with Meghan, with As Ever as well. But could it be a second series?
Well, looking at the context of when she and Harry signed this monster Netflix deal, which is apparently worth somewhere around £80 million, but it ran for 5 years. And at the time that they signed it, it was very much an era where Netflix was doing these big deals. That is no longer the case. There has been quite a restructure. The streaming industry looks very different now than it did back then. And obviously they'll be reviewing all of this. They're paying very close attention to all the money that they're spending. And for that reason, I think there is a very big danger, given that Harry and Meghan, the show, was really the last big success that the couple had with their output. There's a lot riding on this series. I think a lot of people will have watched it, whether they hate Meghan or they love her, because there's, the hate watching part of it as well. There's clearly interest, even though a lot of people have no actual admiration for her. But at the same time, that won't carry through for season 2. That would be that the hate watching element would be season 1. So I think there's a great danger that the deal won't be continued, or certainly not in the numbers that we've seen, the number that they signed with back then. And Harry and Meghan sort of need to keep these big deals going because they have a very expensive lifestyle, particularly with security and everything. So I think it is in danger, yes, of being axed or significantly reduced.
Where would they go, Arthur? So if Netflix suddenly say, well, they were literally funding their first 5 years of their life in California, where would Meghan and Harry be left?
Well, eventually they're going to run out of ideas, aren't they? And people are going to not be interested. I mean, that's...
Okay, that's enough. So I just wanted to quickly cover something just before I end this. Guys, you need to start getting... Once you listen to these people long enough, what you realize is they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Excuse my French. They don't know what the F they're talking about. These, as they said, as he rightly said at the beginning, these are not TV reviewers or TV commentators. These are basically nothing more than TMZ wearing a suit, pretending they are posh and have some kind of in with the royal family. But I keep on saying, I'm very sure Prince Charles will walk past Arthur Edwards and be like, do I know you? I'm very sure he probably doesn't even know. Matt Wilkinson, he probably will allow him to like, oh, well, you push my brand, so thanks, I guess. It's all PR to them, but they wouldn't piss on any of these people if they caught fire. These people don't know anything about anything. They don't even know anything about this production they are putting together. This is basically, I can do this production. I can just get in my living room, get some fake background, put some lighting. The entire setup won't cost me more than, $200 to £200. Get some big lights. I have a cheap camera. Put my phone on it. Maybe, okay, fine. I'll get some more professional cameras. Max, I spend £500, £1,000. I can also replicate a studio, put on a fake suit, and be giving royal comments. They don't know anything. Now, to think that they somehow have some sort of in-house understanding of the type of production deals Meghan and Harry can get is laughable, hilarious, and just ridiculous. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. The fact that they are choosing to ignore the fact that people that hate watching this show cannot be enough to put it in the top 10. It's not possible. While there will be this is why I tell people that online does not translate into real life. And don't forget, online there are also a lot of bots, right? So if 10 people hate a post, maybe 3 of them are real people. So if you're saying only people are the only reason why it's doing so well is because of hate watching, you are delusional. I think people have, wow, this is Meghan. Okay, let me see what this is about. They will give it a shot. Just like they do any other reality show Netflix brings up, right? Or show or any new content Netflix brings up. They will see if they will stay over to the next season. Netflix will take the learnings from this season and apply it to the next season. And then to the TV review bombing. Do you think Netflix is stupid? They know you people have an agenda against this woman. Why on earth would they listen to your reviews? It's like, the reason I'm listening to you now is because I'm making content dragging you. I don't give a shit what you say. What? So it's kind of like these guys have overplayed their importance. And I hope the king is watching this. These people are not helping you. They are lying. This online thing they are doing, people are seeing through it. We're asking hard questions. Why is Kate not working? Why is the only thing William does is carry empty folders and look concerned? Why are you a slumlord, Charles? Where are the taxes going? We are not stupid. And no, we are not distracted. This isn't 1985. People are critical thinkers online and we're asking the hard questions. So if you're thinking that your monarchy is going to exist with these clowns who are probably making a few thousand getting you engagement online in this cost of living crisis, my guy, I am very confident if you don't reverse course and go and make peace with Harry, apologize to his wife and give her safety and end whatever the hell this is and fix things, your reign will not last beyond you. I promise you. Because if what's his name, William comes into power and his lazy, ridiculous wife comes into power, we might as well kiss the monarchy goodbye. On that, unless they sacrifice their children, it won't be the first time. On that note, guys, thanks for all the engagement. Thank you. Those of you that are watching that are new to my space, like I said, we drag the haters here. We don't avoid, we don't deflect. We go right into the belly of the beast and we call out the BS. I want to appreciate the Sussex Squad. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for our community, because I wouldn't be confident and I wouldn't be comfortable doing this without you guys. Thank you for all the comments. It's encouraging. Keep liking. Please keep sharing. Please keep subscribing. Get my name out there. Let's get to 4,000 average views so that I can start to monetize this a bit more and build the production up a bit, because there are a lot of haters. I'm working a full-time job and it takes time to kind of like find these people and drag them out. I really want you guys to respond to my first deep dive into that pervert and the signor. Based on the feedback you give me, I will do more. So yeah, have a good one. Happy with Meghan week. It's looking good. And yeah, thank you so much for your support. Take care.